For the longest time, I've had this thought and or theory, if you want to call it that I've expressed about to many of my friends in my circle. I'm not too sure if this resonates with a lot of people, but I kind of have evidence to back this up from data miners finding out certain seasons in Chapter 4 were never meant to be in it, and the possibility that Chapter 4 came into existence after Donald Mustard stepped down and the higher ups at fucking Epic Games were having different ideas. But I need you guys to hear me out on this video because it's kind of complicated. I won't lie. Also, please subscribe to over 50. I want to have 50 subscribers. Fuck, I want 100 by the end of the fucking year. So like, subscribe, like, and share this video. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. Alright, Chapter 3 and Seasons 3 and 4. In my honest opinion, the only good season, looking at this now from that chapter, was probably the first season. But hell, that even warrants an own video from me because I got so many memories of it. Fond memories. So yeah, if y'all want to see that, I'll definitely make a video about that. Other than that, besides the fact I made good memories with my friends in like Season 3 and 4, we have a tier list. It'll be in the front of the screen. And if you can't tell, like you guys can critique us, you know, but there wasn't really anything good in my opinion in the latter half of Chapter 3. And this is probably well known by like some point in Season 3. Donald Mustard, like the guy who was running Fortnite, the guy making the story in the live events, I don't know what he really did, but he had a massive impact in Fortnite. He left. He stepped down practically, which left like I don't know how many ideas he had. It left like all this on the table, and it left the corporate Epic Games to handle the game and story, which I think led to a chapter where Fortnite was really bare bones at times, and they were playing their ideas way too safe for my liking. At least you can agree to disagree, leading to what I think was the worst year of Fortnite. We're going to ignore the OG season and the launch of Chapter 5. Those were very excellent. You had to be there to understand it though. But my question is like, why did this happen? Like, you know, like how did we get Chapter 4? Like, was Chapter 4 meant to exist? Is my thesis, my hypothesis is that was this meant to exist? But we gotta tone it back a little bit. We gotta go back to Fracture, the worst Fortnite event. Yeah, the worst one. None of the many events of this season. The worst one. Let's get to that one.
Ollie? It's raining sideways! Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella? Had one! Where is it? Inside out too!
This section is going to be a bit short, but it's all well to know now that one of the worst Fortnite events, it's not really well known, but if you're on Twitter, you would notice, is clearly kind of unfinished and in fact had cut parts from the event. If you don't think I'm telling you the truth to the average casual, I'm going to put a video comparing the unfinished versus the final, and y'all can see it from there. I don't really know why there is a deleted scene in the final version, but if I were to honestly guess, the event or the original idea of the event had the intention of being bigger than it was in terms of like story, gameplay, lore. But since Donald Mustard had like stepped down, Epic Games probably rushed out the event for it to be the end of the chapter, and it led to everything else being rushed, which leads to my next point, that chapter 4 wasn't meant to exist. Like, if this is the ongoing theory, but this is almost proof through data mining that like chapter 3, just like chapter 2, was meant to have 8 seasons. That's a lot of evidence that if you search around, you'll find it. But since Donald Mustard had stepped down, and in my opinion, a zero build was being introduced, and if you clearly know that the chapter 3 map on release was not made with that in mind, and with Unreal Engine 5 coming soon at the time, it made sense for Epic Games to pull the plug on chapter 3 earlier than it's supposed to be, and move all the ideas they had for the next 4 seasons into chapter 4 with a map that had zero build in mind, and to show off UE5, Unreal Engine 5. If there was even more proof to prove this, like if you look at what data miners were finding during chapter 4, like season 2, season 3, season 4, they were finding decrypted items and finding tags for them in like chapter 3, season 5, 6, 7, 8, which proves to me that this chapter wasn't meant to exist, and most of the things we saw in chapter 4 were made for chapter 3. It also further even proves, if y'all remember this, that chapter 4 came out in a buggy state. If y'all remember how chapter 4 was on launch, it wasn't the most stable game out there. Not only that, the story also took a nosedive for about a year. Not even a year. I think it took a nosedive from chapter 3, season 3, and it didn't really pick up till maybe chapter 5. But I truly think it started to pick up around like Wrecked. You know what season I'm talking about. Everyone's hated season, but I loved it, you know. Yeah, and they're probably like, we don't got time to do this story. We don't got time to do this bullshit. And because the story already had like 15 plot holes, like people don't like to mention, that with Donald Mustard, like as if he was like we were having like Stephen King writing the story. No, bro, like that guy, like he wrote some good stories, but it was not like that. He was not that guy, bro. There was some plot holes. And it also felt at times during chapter 4 where they abandoned the game altogether. And I'm not talking about content. Fortnite had a content problem for a long time that wasn't fixed to this chapter, if I'm being completely honest. That's a different video. I can make a chapter 5 video. Just let me know if you want to hear me out. But this chapter 4, never had a live event, which is so weird because Fortnite is known for live events. They didn't have a mini event. They didn't have maybe a concert like with an artist. No end chapter event. Nothing happened. I'm not joking. What I'm trying to say is that whatever they were trying to cook up at Epic Games was rushed out, and it failed, and the kitchen burned down. Is what I'm trying to say. It's even more weird, like I just said, when you compare chapter 5, even though people are like, has all this corporate slop, but like Fortnite been having corporate slop since like chapter 1 with collabs, so oh well. I mean, they could probably fix the lock in the UI, but ignoring that chapter has felt more like Fortnite with all the content and the mini events we're having, and even the story beginning to pick up again with Charlie Wen at the helm. I'm just saying, but this is just my honest opinion, that chapter 5 probably was the real chapter 4, which would have picked up right after the end of chapter 3 if it had 8 seasons, because we would have been done with chapter 3 around the time last year, around the same time chapter 4 would have been done. But unfortunately, very unfortunately, we got stuck with chapter 4 that was rushed out on multiple occasions and had multiple failed ideas. At the end of the day though, we'll never truly know what Epic Games and Donald Mustard were trying to cook up before he did step down. I truly do wish in the far future we do get to find out what was planned in that chapter in terms of story, map, and the rest of the chapter, because chapter 3 had something special going, and then like right after chapter 3 season 2 ended, it kind of just like fizzled out, unfortunately. But I guess things, like, as of right now, have gone well for this game, except Chapter 4. Like, I could slander Chapter 4 all day. I just don't like the chapter. I really wish it never happened, honestly. Because, honestly, looking at it, Epic Games did, like, clearly financially suffer with UEFN and everything. And much more. They clearly financially took a hit. But anyways, if you did like this video, I recommend you subscribe and like and watch all my other videos. I don't usually make videos like this where I'm like actually reading through a script. I know it don't sound like that because of the way I speak, but yes, I wrote a script for this video. But if it does get more reception, I'll probably make another one like this, maybe, because I can talk and talk and talk. But until then, take care and peace out.